Hello, everyone. Welcome to Armored Talk this week. I am Fiora. How's everybody doing? We have with us Lightfoot Freddy,
Hello.
Headshot,
Hello.
I Talking,
Hello.
and Spitfire for some reason is at the bottom of the list again. Okay then. So, since Spitfire you're at the bottom of the list, you are the starter. What do you got?
Well, obviously, less than 4 days now, we recorded our video with Richard Taylor. I just wanted to ask everyone how their videos have been going, what people thought of it, and what they think of it.
Shall I start?
Sure.
Well, I had only positive reactions on what we did, and people were very positive. I didn't have any negative feedback whatsoever. So the people that I talked to online, what I play with, and everything, they were all positive, and that we did. This is, well, we gained some respect, I think, also in the community that that we address those things, that we talk about certain stuff, and it's been welcomed by a lot of people. I think the majority of. So that's from my end.
I got a lot of positive response. I also got a lot more questions we didn't ask. And people were asking for, when we can have somebody on for a follow-up and all the and answer all of the questions they're asking, and I'm like, I don't honestly know yet.
Well, we can have people for a follow-up. We can have Silent Stalker to ask if we so want to. Obviously, we couldn't ask all the questions. I'm sure all of us just had to pick the ones which we thought were the best or the most appropriate, or the ones which needed to be asked.
Yeah.
So we all apologise for doing so. We hope everyone understands that we couldn't ask all the questions. I alone had 17.
Yeah. But with such a conversation, there comes more questions. It's always like that. So, we can just simply take score of it and simply write it down, and maybe later in a follow-up we can still do some question Q&A. I mean, you always have that in a Q&A, and especially with someone as Richard Taylor, who goes very in-depth about the game.
So yeah, what about Headshot and I Talking? How did your videos go?
Go ahead, Rob.
I was going to say, personally, I haven't had a huge amount of feedback on mine. Obviously, with my community being focused elsewhere mostly. I've actually only had a single comment on mine, which is positive. But to be honest, the entire thing I actually enjoyed doing, and yeah, obviously these types of things will always, as you say, spawn more questions than you actually end up answering in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was a positive thing to do for sure.
Yeah, I got nothing but positive on the video itself. I was getting asked questions and just being thanked a lot for doing this, because mainly we're just doing this for the community, so they get their hands on information that they don't normally have. So, because they don't have access to devs like we usually do. So,
It's kind of nice having access to devs, but at the same time, it's better if we're allowed to give out more information, because I really think that, as you put it, it helps the community, because it makes the community have more faith in what the devs are doing.
Yep.
Indeed.
All right. Well, does anybody have a burning topic? Otherwise, I have one I'd like to bring up.
I'll go ahead, Ren. I don't have anything at the moment that I can top of my head. So,
I want to know what is up with the free premiums that we keep getting being not very good. I don't mean to bring the negative to the field, but at the same time, the IS-7, having played it in 20 matches yesterday, this is a terrible vehicle.
Serious?
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, yeah. You end up in situations where you can't fight. Anything gets within 50 meters of you that has armor, you can't get your gun low enough to hit the vulnerable spots. And at the same time, I had a Type 59 Legend outrunning me around a rock to the point at which he actually got behind me running around the rock and shot me in the rear.
Mhm.
And I'm looking at it like, this thing can't be that immobile. But it's terrible. And if someone's above you, they pretty much shoot straight down through the armor. It feels like a Tier 3 Chieftain Mark 6. And while the Chieftain Mark 6 isn't necessarily absolutely terrible, people tend not to like it.
The
Well-
Chieftain Mark 6 is basically a free kill.
Well, René, I can just I don't agree with you, because it's if you grind up your crew and you put your retrofits in it, and I had a monster game, a PvP game last week, and I put it even on YouTube. So, and I just now got another game with an IS-7 in PvP. So, yeah, I like it.
Maybe it's not my playstyle. I mean, I can play the Chieftain Mark 6 well when I want to make it dance, but
Yeah.
I can't see making this thing dance.
It's personal. I think also I like the brawlers. I like the heavy tanks. So that's maybe weighing more in my. This is more in my street, and well, I think it's personal, and that's
Like
for everyone.
It's
I think-
definitely not very mobile, for sure, and like the turn rate is pretty bad. So is the turret turn rate. But
Yeah.
the gun is pretty solid. I really like the gun. I
Yeah.
don't like its aiming time because my god, it takes a million years to aim.
Yeah,
And
It
pretty
does.
it's pretty slow in terms of firing. But you've got to play it like a chieftain, which is if you keep that the obvious weak spot covered, which is the lower plate. Like
Yeah.
it's actually very very hard to pen. Like if you've got
Oh,
some distance, if you let them close the distance, yeah, you're a bit screwed.
Well, I find that you can't keep the obvious weak spot covered because the gun depression is worse than most Chinese tanks.
true.
So
True.
keeping your hull covered is only possible on level terrain, or if you're not necessarily above, but basically look angled downward, so you're using elevation instead.
Or if a teammate died in front of you,
That too.
which, to be honest, given Tier 3 battles, that happens quite a lot.
Especially if someone's in another IS-7 Spitfire.
Yeah, me and Headshot had some good games in them, but those were because we managed to find some places to hold down. Although we had our IS-7s early for some reason, so Headshot being Headshot, me having the my.com name, and being a streamer, we kind of got swarmed by the quit quite a
Everyone
bit.
swarmed us.
Everyone swarmed us. In the end, my assessment of the i7 would be it's a very situational vehicle. I would much prefer the T62 Veteran in place, as it has gun depression and you can quite happily fight an i7 in it.
But again, guys, I think also it's personal.
Yeah.
It is.
So, does anyone have any other burning, firing, raging issues they want to cover?
Not really. I mean,
Well,
the only thing I could say about the IS-7, it just needs more gun depression, maybe like 3 or 4 more degrees.
When do you guys think we're gonna get like a gift shop?
It might be slated for when the game goes live, I don't know, but people are talking about it coming next like EA1 next year or autumn or winter. I mean, it'd be great if we knew when it was coming out. I mean, did any of us actually ask that question? We didn't, did we?
No,
No.
that's the one.
Nope.
One thing we didn't get to ask Rich was when are we going to get a gift shop? Like it would for us as YouTubers. Like if we want to run an event and give away stuff, it's really hard just to use our own money if we don't have a gift shop from which to pull from.
Yeah.
People appreciate something material like, hey, 10,000 gold or the shark pack. What do you think people are going to want?
Both, because you could buy the 10,000 gold and then use the gold to buy the shark pack.
I guess, but people appreciate something more material in a way. So I think being able to, we need a gift shop, we need all of the premium vehicles, you know, the Shark Pack, Wolf Pack, Merc Pack, Ice Pack vehicles on there as well. Also, what does everyone think of those vehicles? I mean, people say they're just reskin premiums, but to my knowledge, people like them.
I like them also. Yeah, I bought them myself.
Unlike World of Tanks, they're pretty affordable. They don't come with a completely shit crew. You don't have to pay gold to upgrade the crew. You don't have a vehicle that's basically neutered.
I like the idea because it's something that we talked about way back in closed beta. Can we please have premium versions of the regular tanks? Because like you have regular tanks that you enjoy a lot more than special premium tanks in most cases. To give a World of Tanks example, I personally love my IS-3. I, however, can't play the IS-3 religiously because you will lose money. If I had a premium IS-3 that would train my crew, not the IS-3A that doesn't train my loader, I would totally have bought it. But there's not one. Instead, you're stuck with the IS-6, which is a terrible, awful piece of junk.
And the KV-5, which is also an awful piece of junk.
Yeah, so having, like, for instance, with the Shark Pack, I can have a premium Fox. I am happy. I can have a premium ERC. I'm very happy now. Those are two of my most favorite vehicles, but you get the idea.
Tier 5.
And they're two very inexpensive vehicles as well. I mean, you can get them both for less than $20.
I can get both of them for $8.
Oh yeah, $8.
$8 United States, or your regional equivalent, you can get both the premium tier 5s. That makes me happy.
Yeah, $8.
But I mean,
and people still complain about their prices. Like it's $8 I'm sorry for the swear word, but
it's alright.
No, it's reasonable to complain to be upset about people complaining about the prices in this game. I have sat down and done the math before the Shark Pack released. If you bought everything they released that you can currently buy in game. So if you bought every single premium vehicle in-game you can buy right now at full price, you were dropping $108. That's it. To illustrate the difference in prices of the competitors, if you bought 3 vehicles in War Thunder, you've spent $100. If you bought 2 Tier 8s in World of Tanks, you spent $100.
True.
Yep.
I can't argue
World
with,
Warships and stuff,
with their price scheme.
And not to mention in World of Warships, there's a Tier 6 HMS Belfast going for, was it, $130?
Yep.
Yeah, well done, with a lot of stuff with it. And simply standard, without nothing, it was costing 30 euros.
But
Now,
look at it this way, though. Those are unique things.
Yeah, they are.
now there are some vehicles that I am upset that we can't, like, buy and probably won't be able to, like the Puma and the Hunter. Those were, and I don't know that they're ever going to give away the Puma ever again. So I'm like, it's the only unique premium AFV, and I'm primarily an AFV player, as we just talked about. So I can't, if I didn't get it during the event, I'm never going to get it.
Yeah, and that is definitely an issue. I have to admit, like, I have the feeling the lower prices is because, I mean, let's be fair, these are reskins. Like that is all they are. They're reskins with the premium thing on top. They're not anything. They're not new. They're not separate. They're not completely unique. Like obviously the IS-7 is the Puma, even the Hunter. But like the Shark Pack and the Wolf Pack and all those packs, they are just skins for tanks with the premium thing on top. So they can do it a little bit cheaper because it does take a lot less in terms of development effort to do it.
Plus, we have to want to buy them instead of just using the existing one and upgrading it to a battle hardened.
Which still doesn't give the full thing.
It doesn't get the full benefit, but it has to be cheap enough that it's worth getting the real Shark Pack vehicle instead of just battle hardening the one you already own.
Yeah. But also I find also the battle hardening should be equal to the premium.
That I don't agree with, because then they can't do things like the Shark Pack because there's no point. Because if you can just buy the battle hardened for the
True.
same and get the same thing.
True, but if I have grinded out my my T90 and I make it battle hardened, because I put gold again, I actually pay out of my own pocket to make it well, a premium. Why not? It's a choice, right? Because you will never get a T90 premium. If that is one of your favorite vehicles to play, why should it not be an option?
I
Fair
kind
enough.
of agree, because also the price of the battle hardening is, I mean, it's fairly expensive.
Yeah, exactly. So why not? You know, it's a free choice. You don't have to do it, but if you love your vehicle, what you're playing at, and you're paying for it to be a, let's say, premium, well, but again, that's maybe difference of opinion. I mean, I would like to see that. Maybe that you can even make a premium out of your own like favorite vehicle. Why not reskin it even? Maybe in the future, but you can put it different, like a rare camo on it or whatever.
Well, like as I said, I would like to see, you know, user-created skins and user-created decals and stuff that we can go, hey, you know, people made this. I think also the user-created ones would sell better than the standard ones.
Yeah,
Probably.
It'd be pretty cool if we had an
I
Armor
think so
Talk
too.
skin.
I mean, it's like, obviously, the people that know me, I'm more of a Warframe kind of guy.
Yeah.
And Warframe has what's called Tennogen. Now, Tennogen uses the Steam Workshop for their skins and things like that. But they have a deal where, you know, the creator gets part of the profits, and so do the devs and stuff like that, and it gets everyone involved. The amount of incredible quality, like, skins and stuff that are coming through that right now is fantastic. But it's also good for the company, because then obviously they're making a bit of extra money on the side, while the community's actually doing the work. Like, looking at it from a business perspective, it's also really good.
It goes both ways, but the problem now at the moment is that it's still not marketed, the game. The game is still in beta. They haven't promoted it properly.
They will.
They will.
And we know they will. We know that supposedly when .20 comes out, that they will start their big marketing campaign, but that's sometime at the start of next year before we see that.
Yeah. And also the answers that we got from Richard was
User joined your channel.
about the new vehicles. I found a little bit, let's say, he was quite open about it, like state an open question, like what is coming, what can we expect for new vehicles, because there was a lot of talk about the new line, the new TD that's coming, and
User left your channel.
and now it's all a little bit uncertain. I mean, I found that answer a little bit weird, because there's a lot of been talked about online, also in the forums and by moderators even, and so that I could not place. The fact that he could not simply say, okay, we are busy with that vehicle, and that is for sure coming. Why not?
You mean he couldn't say because he didn't know, or he couldn't say because he didn't want to?
I don't know. Yeah, I think
there's a fair difference between that. I mean, obviously he's development. I doubt he deals in individual vehicle cases.
Yeah.
As of such, would probably be better off asking, you know, the person who wanted to, but that didn't go well. Maybe Silent Stalker or someone else we can interview will know. You know, someone who is actually at the field doing the vehicle models, rather than the guy who's worrying about bigger things.
But then we again probably will. Are they allowed to talk about it? That's another thing, of course.
Well, we can ask before we do anything.
Asking is free, so we can do that, and I find it's a very good idea. Silent Stalker is known at the forums. People, everyone knows Silent Stalker actually, so I find it a good idea. Why not? put a voice behind the man on the forum, I think.
I guess the other thing would be like the ratio of actual tanks to the reskin premiums, like the Shark Pack and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like the rate that they're releasing the progression tanks is very, very slow right now.
Well, you know why, because they're prepping everything for Balance 2.0. It wouldn't make much sense now to release everything now and then balance them immediately afterwards.
Yeah, I get that, but it's been, you know, even the last like 6-8 months, like the amount of progression tanks that have come in hasn't been a lot.
No.
No, we haven't seen a significant number of progression tanks since the new dealer came out.
Since the Chinese line.
Yeah.
Yep.
We had the Swings, we had the T15, the Crab.
The VBR, right?
Yeah, the VBR. Okay, it was a great project.
I forgot that thing existed.
I'm not going to give my opinion on the VBR right
now.
now.
We know all how we feel about the VBR, so we discussed that quite intensely.
I'm looking now to see if there's anything that like the T15, but that's a tier 10.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Swings also tier 10 came in.
The
Crab came in the tier 9.
The Sphinx came in, and that's all the progression vehicles. Everything else is premium vehicles or reskins.
Last year, the tier 10s was last year, right? End of last year.
Yeah, end of last year they got announced, and they were released in February, March.
Yeah, so actually this year we got quite a lot of vehicles in 2016. We got the Chinese dealer this year.
And then it says something that since the vehicles have been coming out, it's pretty obvious that they're preparing everything for after 2.0, which I'm content in waiting. I'd rather have vehicles then, which I know have been fixed and will fit in the game, rather than vehicles now, which I buy and then I might not like them.
Exactly, I agree with you, Sophie, on that. That's better.
The problem is, like, the community are doing something different and are voting with their feet right now. This is the problem. Like, I don't know. I mean, the Division's going through the same thing at the moment, where it's taken so long to get the patch out that people have already gone, and that it might be difficult to get them back again. That's the it's a balancing act. That's the sort of main problem.
I don't think it's going to be that hard to get them back in this case, because a lot of them that are leaving are just leaving for a little bit, as far as I can tell, because they're leaving and they have, tier 7, tier 8 vehicles. They've put a lot of time into this. Just, dropping everything and leaving, knowing that new development is coming literally right around the corner. I'm saying we wait until we see what happens with Global Ops. Just, everybody word of mouthing that Global Ops is out before we say, okay, we need an advertising campaign right now. Or we need new vehicles right now.
Yep.
To keep the player base, yeah, for sure.
And they are indeed waiting for 2.0.
I know a lot of people who stop playing now, and they're saying simply, we stop playing until the new line is coming, the new tanks are coming. Yeah, and that's not only from my side or people that I know in my close circle, but also from outside, and on the forums I read the same thing.
What I'm meaning is that has a knock-on effect. For example, if someone started the game, today, if someone started the game today, it doesn't necessarily matter to them that there's a massive load of development coming along down the line, and that a ton of players will come back again. If they are not getting games in a decent amount of time, that sort of thing, if player numbers are starting to fall, it affects the new player experience just as much as it does the people that have already left. And that's the sort of concern that I'm having with the amount of time it's taking. I want them to get it right, of course, but at the same time, it's one of those things that needs to be judged accordingly.
Yeah, I could see the need to kind of, hurry up and get some new tanks out, like an entire new line or something, but from what I have found with games like this, it's definitely more about we need to get this right the first time than to get it out quickly.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks, because people are impatient.
And need to put hot fixes and patches out, so that destabilizes the rest of the game. That's also not good. So I'd rather wait.
To quote Fallout, patience never changes.
Yeah, and
Gamers aren't patient. That's the thing.
yeah, but the thing is, you also have to believe in the game. And if I listen to Richard Taylor, I believe the passionate what they're working on and how he's involved in everything. I believe in him. Let's say like this. It's maybe bullshit, but I believe in him, and I believe in the game. It has so much potential, and new tanks will come, and they will put them out if all the bugs are fixed. Simple as that. 2.0 will be the it's been said already many times. It will be the biggest update. So, and I'm looking forward to that.
I totally agree with you. I mean, like, you could tell with Richard Taylor that he was still passionate about the game, and like, it's always good to hear from people like that because you can always tell, like, just what they're thinking. I want this game to succeed as well. Like, I mean, I'd be crazy if it didn't. It's a fantastic game, and it's got so much potential.
Exactly.
Which is why they've you know, everything's got to be balanced at the same time. I've had a decent amount of experience of dealing with developers, so.
Yeah.
I have also found when I just assume that that I should expect less from random teammates, that I enjoy this game a lot more than I do War Thunder or World of Tanks. Just because, you know, War Thunder and World of Tanks are old, iconic tanks and everything, but these are tanks that I see driving around, or that I can physically go out and, you know, talk to my military buddies, and they're like, yeah, I was driving an Abrams yesterday, or yeah, I've seen a Leopard 2 in action. There's stuff that the vehicles themselves are more relatable to me because they're in use, and it's more real to me to see them in use in my time.
It stands closer to you. I mean, and don't forget, I like the whole setup of the game. Sorry, excuse me. I like the whole setup of the game, and so I really hope it will work out, and the 2.0 will be the turnaround, and also for the player base in the US, in the North American server. I really hope that they can also join us and having the same amount of fun we are having on the European server, because we have, to be honest. Impatience will always be. People will always stay impatient. They always want to have it yesterday. And but be fair and be realistic. That's the only thing you can ask for, I think.
And I don't understand why you would necessarily be impatient with a game like Armored Warfare or Warframe.
Yeah.
It's a game where you're going to have to grind for a bit to get a vehicle. You obviously have the patience for that.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
But
have a little patience.
Yeah, but you know, Fjord, let's be honest. This generation of players are quite spoiled. The best games, the most beautiful games, and a lot of games are around to play. Not in this genre with the tanks and everything. You've got World of Tanks, you've got War Thunder, you've got Armored Warfare, and they are so far ahead already of in War Thunder and in World of Tanks. And there are so many tanks you can play with and grind to, but that's the thing. Patience. They have to wait, and it will take a longer time to get more tanks and to get more choices and options in the game. Patience is difficult these days, and that's not only with this game, it's also with other games. I mean, it has to be immediately good, it has to be spot on, it has to be perfect, and if not, people drop the game. Yeah, and that I found quite a pity, and that's human nature probably, and this generation. Try to look.
To be honest, if the last
games.
generation was in this kind of thing, they'd probably be the same. It's not a generation thing, it's just how things are right now.
Yeah, it's just how gamers are these days. Like,
that's what I tried to say.
God, we all sound like old men and women talking about back in my day.
No,
I am old. I
Get
don't know
off
about
my
you.
lawn.
Back in my day when we applauded the police shooting the black people.
My God, you were happy that you got a game. You know, I mean, if you look at it now,
I'm just imagining my version of a retirement home now, in which it's not it's just a giant LAN party all day.
Yeah.
Back in my day, we used to play with text.
Back in my day, we used to talk to people outside,
Yeah.
and sometimes inside the house too.
Back
Yeah.
in my day, we used to have to pack up our computers and all go to one guy's house.
That still
Yep.
happens, by the way. Really. Lawn parties. Oh god. They organize them in the clan. So. But it's nice, you know. Instead of only talking to each other on TeamSpeak or chatting with each other on the telephones. And when we were on vacation 2 years ago, and we were in Croatia on vacation. And there was this whole couple of friends, girls walking by, teenagers, and they were all bent over the telephone, like walking in a line, 4 of them next to each other, and all bent over the telephones. And I'm thinking, okay, it's unbelievable. Simply that people stop talking to each other anymore.
I'm a horrible person because I took that really wrong.
I mean,
I don't think you're a horrible person. I think you're a
no,
normal person.
not at all, not at all. No, that's. But simple. The fact is, it's a generation. I think. I mean.
Not to mention, I can also see from what just happened, like, people are talking about stuff needs to be fixed. Well, I just did a ram, and I did 400 damage, took 114, ramming the same tank broadside. Full speed. That makes sense for ram damage!
Yeah.
Or if we can just get
Well,
fall
I mean,
damage to
there
work
was...
right.
I was about to say, and, like, in my IS-7 video, I jumped off a cliff onto a Leo 1 and did 150 damage or something.
It was hilarious though.
Yeah.
It was brilliant, but I did like 150 damage and I landed on top of him with a 70-ton tank.
Yeah.
You weigh
I did
twice as
similar.
much as him, and like literally, like you weigh twice as much as him. You've got more armor on your pike nose than he has in his entire vehicle, and you only did 100 damage to him.
I mean, I hope my comments don't come across as too like negative or anything, but you know,
No,
the things I've mentioned are stuff that definitely need to be like considered.
Something about this show that I want to always emphasize is we are going to say exactly how we feel, and no holds bar, no polishing it up or being all happy cherry about it.
Well, one thing is clear. I cannot talk and play at the same time because I am really like shite, really. I can do...
It is a talent and a skill that takes time to develop.
I know, I have to do more tank talk, so I will train myself.
Or you just need to be like me and run and be female, we find it easy.
Oh, I will simply drive, I'm simply driving after the Draco, never mind. I have, my skills
Good old
are
Draco.
really... Yeah, with a
Yeah,
challenger.
those of you who think this is easy, I want you to go play a game and try to talk the entire time you're playing.
Yeah.
Try it. See how much harder it is.
Well, I really admire that you do, Fiora, because my God, playing and having such a heavy discussions, amazing, really.
And then making it coherent as well.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't start that way, okay? If you go watch the first time I ever did, like, the very first Let's Play I did, which was Vampire the Masquerade, God, there's like 3-minute segments where I'm quiet, and I'm like,
I was the same way. I started with World of Tanks.
Yeah.
I'm still that way.
It's an art, you guys. It's really an art. It's even doing voiceovers on a video. It's really, you have to learn, and you learn every video by video. You learn to get better, and you're always progressing, and you always think, oh, I can do that better. I can do that better. So nothing wrong with that.
I actually have to have people with me so I can talk regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Let's end with the T64 squad if we can.
Yeah, sure.
Assuming everybody has one.
Do we all have T64s?
I was fortunate enough that I met a guy who simply hooked me up with one. So
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
T64A Hunter Platoon.
Wow.
What are we hunting?
Watch us get a snow map.
Snow map with yellow camo.
Yeah, that's also
Don't worry, guys, they can't see us.
Why can I not
At
change
least-
the camo?
At least we can go to the snow where people have taken a dump on, and then we'll be camouflaged.
I was just going to point out.
I would say that's a different colour, surely.
Snow!
I know, yellow
That's the
snow.
tank.
No
If you
yellow
pee in
snow. Ugh.
Guys, I had an idea about the show. Maybe some ideas we can do, like pick a vehicle and play with it, and we are 5 of us, and simply, discuss the vehicle, and we all have to play the same thing, PvE, PvP, and we can get the audience involved in it, and simply that they pick a tank that we should play, all of us. Is that an idea? Maybe we can do.
Go for it.
Could do that, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm up for that.
Yeah.
Although I don't think we'd be able to do PvP in a 5-man squad.
No, I mean, we record this, of course, earlier, but simply play with a vehicle whole week, yeah, and then simply give our opinion about that vehicle. Because what we usually do, and I'm not the only one, I think, you play maybe a couple of games, and then you have your statement. But if you're now forced to play with a vehicle a little bit more than usual, some vehicles can even grow on you. Like, hey, okay, it's not a bad vehicle. It has positive sides, it has negative sides, or simply you absolutely hate it and you will never drive it or never buy it.
I refuse to play tier 8s, 9s or 10s in this current meta.
No, we don't play. We keep it until tier 8. That's maybe the best thing for everyone available also. And I think would be nice. If you agree with me, at least, and maybe you have other ideas about it, or maybe we should implement something else. But make it a viewer choice. So
I love how none of us did any damage to that leopard.
Well, I shot you because you turned left just as I fired.
But I always like your hot heavy shells going into my BB.
If you have played the IS-7, you could not even do damage to your teammates with the IS-7.
Yeah, I don't get why we've restricted hard mode and PvP. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand why on the NA server you can't play PvP until tier 3, and on the EU server you can't play hard until tier 5?
Yeah.
The PvP on the NA server is a population issue. They've had massive problems getting population for that tier games. So they physically had to do it.
It is kind of America's fault. They are pretty PvE focused in the first point.
Yeah, it's definitely a culture here where it's player versus computers, player versus AI, and then player versus player.
Well, is that a bad thing?
Not necessarily, but you will find the American ideas about how PvP should work is much more entitled to, that they should be better for some reason.
Okay.
And so what ends up happening is players have a lot more salt than on the EU server, I find.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I'm quite excited, because, I mean, you know me, I'm more of a PvE player than a PvP one, so I'm quite excited to see the Global Ops features come to this.
Well, I played it on the test server, and I was impressed, and I liked it very much, but the only thing I didn't like was the fact that everyone was diving into the tier 10s. And that game...
We know how that goes.
Yeah. So... that was not such a good move to make it only available, make the tier 10s available in that
format.
Yeah, format.
They made the mistake of giving everyone a ton of free XP and a ton of credits.
Yeah.
Like if they'd have given nobody credits and no free XP or anything, and just kept the tier 8s unlocked, then it wouldn't have been so bad.
Well, I generally disagree with giving people like instant access to the top tiers of games. This was a couple of months back during the tier 10s. We were some of us mod.com people were allowed to play with members of the press, and we were doing tier 10s. And it became pretty evident that the community managers, the moderators, and the press had no idea what they were doing.
Exactly.
Because they were all playing tier 10, they had no idea of the weak spots, they had no idea how the game worked. And this is especially with press things. You shouldn't give press or people who don't know how to play the game instant access to things. I mean, this happened with Angry Joe, didn't it? He was playing Armored Warfare, and they gave him tier 10. It was just like failing over and over and over again because he had no clue what to do.
Yeah, that was. I think that's even a hot topic that we talked about. I think the one before, Richard Taylor, and about supporting YouTubers and actually having experience in playing high tiers, grinding the tanks, or even, I think it's obligation if you want to be a YouTuber and you want to put videos out or want to have an honest opinion about a vehicle, you should have played some substantial games and not only just jump into a tier 10 and fully upgrade it, retrofit it, and then go, okay guys, go YOLO, because that's not how it works. You don't have an honest opinion about a tank, and that's that. I mean, and that's also what happened with global operations. If they simply would have kept it until tier 8, they would have more people would join the test server, and the outcome would be even more positive than it's now, for sure. Because it's a great game mode. That's my opinion.
I guess for the YouTubers, they should have like a requirement: how many battles have you actually done in Armored Warfare before I give you these tanks? Yeah,
I agree totally. I mean, grinding and playing these tanks. I want to feel out. When I do this, I want to feel the tanks. I want to know what I'm talking about. What is it doing for me? And still, it's a thought that I have. It's a feeling that I have. It's my opinion. Yeah, because someone else, like we just had a little discussion about the IS-7, difference of opinion, and that can, of course, that's possible. Everyone can have a difference of opinion. But in this case, don't give out the tier 10s to people who never have played it. Don't give out press accounts to people that only give you once a month a little issue on YouTube about Armored Warfare. There are people there making daily content for Armored Warfare, and they get shit. That being said. Was that too salty, or?
No.
Yeah? Okay.
It's honestly the truth.
Yeah. I mean, I know that Fiora puts all her heart in. I know that Sophie puts all her heart in it. I know Rob is doing that. You also are talking. I mean, we all do it because we love the game. Yep. And still, you have to almost beg to get something done. That's a discussion for a different time. So let's keep it. Let's keep ourselves focused on what's ahead.
Yeah. So, unless somebody has something they absolutely need to talk about, I believe we are out of time.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm done.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I'm also good.
Alright, so, from my house here, this has been Fiora with, we'll start in reverse. Spitfire? I talking?
Hello. And thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for watching.
And Lightfoot Freddy.
Thank you for watching, guys. Talk to you soon.
You will find all of our channels in the description below. Please do like and subscribe if you can. All of us put out Armored Warfare content, and all of us put out different stuff. So, and as Digahole has pointed out, we all have differences of opinions on how to use certain vehicles and how to do certain things.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
In the meantime, we will see you guys next week, and we may have some more to talk about next week, considering that we're getting very close to that proposed date for Global Ops to go live, i.e. patch 0.18.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious when.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. Exactly.
It's gonna be good.
In the meantime, let's all say goodbye. See you later, guys.
See you later. Bye-bye.
See ya.